Welcome back. These are Acer's new 2026 11.6-inch education-focused Chromebooks, both powered by the new MediaTek Kompanio 540. On the left is the convertible Acer Chromebook Spin 311, and on the right is the clamshell version, simply the Acer Chromebook 311. These are education-focused Chromebooks that you may have seen me preview in my video from the BET show earlier this year, but really as two small rugged Chromebooks promising decent battery life and performance, their appeal could be a lot wider. Alongside that new MediaTek Kompanio 540, which we'll benchmark later in the video, both of these pre-release models I have on loan to me from Acer UK have 4GB of DDR5 RAM, and the Spin has 64GB of eMMC storage, and the clamshell 311 just 32GB. Don't worry though, there are options for more on both the RAM and storage fronts. More on that later. Taking a look at the Spin 311 first, I really like the feel of it in the hand. It is a full plastic build, but it's rugged, designed to be tough for the classroom. You've got this black textured plastic top, which feels pretty grippy and slightly satisfying for some reason. It's surrounded by a lighter grey rubber bumper, and that bumper continues around the bottom of the Chromebook too, so you've got no sharp corners. It certainly gives me reassurance that it would happily survive a small drop or two. Even with the rugged design, the Spin 311 isn't too heavy, so I weighed this one in at 1.25 kg, that's about 2.75 pounds. The regular clamshell 311 here is lighter, as it's saving weight by not having a touch display. This one weighed in for me at 1.16 kg, that's about 2.56 pounds. Keep in mind though, there is also a touch option in the model line, that's the C725T, and of course I imagine that one's going to weigh a bit more. The regular Chromebook 311 at first glance looks similar to the Spin 311 from its lid, but straight away you'll notice a couple of things. So I've got the optional world-facing camera up in the right hand corner, so more on that later, and you'll also notice that neither of the hinges show on top of the clamshell. We've still got that black textured top though, but the edging this time is black as well, so blends into it, and it feels slightly less rubbery to me, but that might just be my imagination. The bottom half of the Chromebook has the same grey bumper as the Spin 311, as in fact I think these bottom halves are identical. They've got the same internals, and by the looks of it the same exterior as well. The only slight difference to that is on the bottom of the clamshell. I'll show you that the rubber bar support at the rear of it is slightly more pronounced than on the Spin. I've got the Spin on top here, but as I show you their ports you can see what I mean about those bottom halves being identical. So starting on the right of the Chromebook, we've got a headphone microphone combo jack, the first of two full-size USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports, and the first of two USB-C ports, the module for which is replaceable, so easy to service. To the upper right there's also a fairly large power LED, so it stays blue the whole time the Chromebook is on and running on battery, the same for when it's plugged in and fully charged, and when the Chromebook's charging, whether in use or off, the light is amber. I guess the extra large size helps at a glance in the classroom when you're managing a lot of these devices. I was hoping there may have been some indication, like when the battery was at a critical level, say below 10%, the light could go red, but that doesn't seem to be the case. When you put the Chromebook to sleep though, it does pulse amber. Over on the left hand side of the Chromebooks we've got a Kensington Nano lock slot, and then we've got the second of both the USB-A and USB-C ports, so especially great that you'll be able to charge this from either side. So notice there's no physical power or volume rocker, something that used to be pretty common on convertibles, but seems to be less so now. For Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, the two I have here have Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, but there are options for Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.3 to look out for. Taking a look underneath, I've got the Spin here, but as discussed the layout is identical for both. There's no ventilation grill as that's not required for the Kompanio 540 as it's fanless. There are drain holes for the spill resistant keyboard deck, and of course everything is designed around ease of maintenance to make life easy in the classroom. For example, you only need to remove 2 screws to remove and replace the keyboard. The speakers are down here towards the front corners. From a brief bit of testing they get loud and they're actually better than I was expecting in terms of quality. Here's a quick example from the intro track of this video. Before we take a look at the keyboard deck, if you like this type of Chromebook content and want it to reach a wider audience, please do click the thumbs up icon to give it a like, subscribe if you're not already and turn on notifications, and why not drop a comment? It'd be great to hear your opinion on these two and I'll be sure to reply. So here the Chromebooks are opened up, and of course this is where we start to notice a difference. So the Spin 311 of course is fully convertible, so the screen can go back 360 degrees, so you can use it in a range of ways and use the touch display in ChromeOS tablet mode. The regular 311 with its clamshell design does allow you to open the display 180 degrees, so it can sit flat against the keyboard deck, which is always a plus, especially in the way you can imagine these might be handled in the classroom. Looking at the keyboard deck in a bit more detail, again these are identical between the two, so I'll just show you using the Spin. So the dark colour continues in here, but the white lettering on the keys does give some contrast. There's no backlit option for the keyboard, but again, perhaps not an issue in the classroom, and it'll likely help with the spill-resistant design. I'm not the biggest fan of the plastic finish inside the keyboard deck. You'll probably notice fingerprints and marks and dust on it during this video, but I can tell you that it does clean fairly easily. The eagle-eyed amongst you will spot straight away that I've got a US keyboard layout on this one, including the smaller enter key. I can't be 100% sure, but I expect for the UK and markets that would expect it, we'll see Acer sticking to the full-size return key as they have done in the past. As a 2026 model, you've of course got the modern Chromebook keyboard layout, including the quick insert key over on the left and the G-branded launcher down on the bottom row. The key travel is what I'd describe as medium. The typing experience is passable. It's a little emotionless without much feedback from the keys, but that certainly does the job. I think the slightly rough plastic with the feel of the letters printed on top doesn't aid it, but again for the classroom and the balance of ease of maintenance, perhaps it's not really an issue. For the touchpad, it's an okay size plastic, very smooth for gestures and taps, and it also feels very well seated for clicks. So perhaps most interesting for all of us, how do these Chromebooks perform with the new Kompanio 540? From my brief testing, I'd say they're absolutely fine for entry-level Chromebooks. I haven't been blown away by them, but that's not really the point, is it? It certainly felt decent for everyday browsing and light Android gaming as well, and the fact these Chromebooks run cool and quiet with no fans is always welcome. I've got the 4GB of RAM option in both of these, and I definitely advise any buyers to go for the 8GB option to get the most out of them. I ran Geekbench 6 and Speedometer 3.1 to get an idea of the numbers. From my previous benchmark data, single core performance is very similar to the Intel N100 and N50, and those processors were launched back in 2023. Multi-core on the Kompanio 540 though slightly outperform my numbers on the Intel N100, but then the graphics performance of the Kompanio 540 falls behind. Closer to, but behind that of the N50, again from my numbers. But what about comparing the Kompanio 540 to its predecessor, the Kompanio 520? So Speedometer 3.1 is a benchmark tool that essentially runs through a simulation of web app tasks, so I'd like to think it's most comparable to general browsing. A shout out in particular to those of you who responded to my community post and provided stats for the 520. Our numbers show around a 47% increase in the performance of the Kompanio 540, which seems like a more than decent jump in this new chip. Again though, comparing it against the fairly common Intel N100, it is scoring lower from my results. Decent everyday performance is no good without battery life to match though. I've run some pretty non-scientific battery drain tests on both these 311s. I've streamed HD YouTube videos full screen at full brightness on both with the volume muted, and turned off the battery saver when it kicked in at 20% battery life remaining. In my two limited runs, I saw the Spin 311 get between 7 and 8 hours on each run, but both times after the Spin had given up, the regular clamshell lasted a further 40 to 45 minutes. My thought is it's got to be due to the slightly dimmer display that, to my eye at least, on the non-touch version I have here of the Acer Chromebook 311 is helping it eke that bit more out of the same 45 watt-hour battery that both it and the Spin come with. Either way, you can imagine when not running the display at full brightness and using them for general browsing, battery life should be really decent. And when it came to recharging these Chromebooks with the included 65 watt USB-C charger, I found I could get both batteries up up above 50% after just half an hour of charging with the devices off. I think that's a great practical level for real world use, and it does match Acer's claim. Before we move on from the Kompanio 540 though, there's one other important attribute linked to it. It's part of a new Chromebook platform this year in 2026, and so it's showing a full 10 years of ChromeOS updates all the way through to June 2036. That said, right now, with a background of a lot of speculation about the future OS of Chromebooks, and in particular Aluminum OS, I think this still puts you in a very strong position with regards to the update life of either of these Chromebooks. Let's move on and look at those displays. So first, the similarities. They're both 11.6-inch IPS displays in 16:9 aspect ratios with HD resolutions of 1366 by 768. That does feel pretty dated in 2026. It felt like we generally had moved on to 16:10 taller aspect ratio displays, allowing for higher resolutions, typically of 1920 by 1200. In fact, even Acer's Spin 312 from 2024 had adopted this approach. These new 311s have both got fairly sizable bezels too. There is some argument that in an education environment for small hands picking up the device or using the touchscreen, that can actually be a benefit, but again, it just looks pretty dated. On the Spin, and I expect on the touchscreen versions of the clamshell 311 as well, the bezels are flush with the glass display, whereas on the non-touch 311 like I have here, the display is recessed and the bezels are that same plastic finish from around the keyboard deck, and again, it just doesn't look quite as good. So what about the differences? Let's look at the Spin first. So it's of course a touch display coated in Gorilla Glass, and it's fully convertible for tablet mode, and it's compatible with a stylus, although there isn't one included or any clever design for a dockable pen. Although I've said that's a difference, keep in mind again that there is that touch option for the clamshell as well. That said, that's not going to offer ChromeOS tablet mode, and I can't find information to confirm either way if that one will be compatible with a pen or not. Acer don't seem to state the brightness of either of these two displays either. I think they'll probably claim that they're getting somewhere near 300, and to my eye it's just a bit below that, but from having them side by side, the Spin 311's display looks slightly brighter to me, and the viewing angles are also slightly improved to my eye. That also ties into my battery test. At the top of the screens you'll find the Full HD webcams and privacy sliders on both models. It's nice to see that Full HD is now the standard here, and the quality from both seem decent enough, but it's not going to blow you away. The only extra thing I'd note is that the privacy slider was easy to operate without really thinking about it on the clamshell, compared to on the Spin where it just needed a bit more force and almost for you to get your nail behind it rather than just to apply pressure to the grip. There's also the optional world-facing camera for both models. As mentioned, I've got this option on the clamshell 311, so the camera there is on the lid in the top corner, effectively looking out onto the world like your phone's rear camera does. It's 5 megapixel and it offers quad HD for the video. Seeing the quality from the video of the world-facing camera, I may not have noticed that it should have been a step up from the main webcam, and when it came to the photos, unfortunately they looked pretty washed out to me. On the Spin 311, it's positioned in the top center of the keyboard deck, as you could see in Acer's promotional video. So the starting prices listed in the press release do seem a bit on the high side to me, but that's not too uncommon with education devices, and imagining most of these will be sold in large quantity to education establishments, you'd hope that there will be some volume discounting. Whether this generation becomes more widely available to retail, we'll have to see. Don't get confused with adverts like this one at Argos. The term new is very misleading here. They have a Spin 311 that's new to them perhaps, but this is certainly not the new model. It's the older R724T model that came out last year, and that one's got the Kompanio 528. If you've made it this far, thank you. It'd be great to hear from you in the comments. Tell me what you think about these two. And in the meantime, there's another Chromebook video from the channel on screen now for you to watch next. Cheers.